generally in like manufacturing, and what we've seen at work is we were having a lot of incidents at 10:30 and 2:30, and this has been a trend. And one thing that I guess we nudged, or we sprinkled in, is we gave the employees agency to pause at 10 and 2 to just like reassess the job site, and look and try to understand and identify if any critical situations had developed since they started work. And this is just a way for them to reflect. So we're sort of like guiding them to be more mindful and find more things on the job site. Think about this, the ideal state, it might be off in the future, but what can we do now? What good things about HOP can we get working now in the organization? Does it have to be all or nothing? I hope not. Uh, a lot of our companies talk about this, and we're in this lean, we use this lean manufacturing language, and they're already used to this, right? They already believe in making small changes over time to drive ongoing improvement. So that is like another place where we can sort of sprinkle ourselves into. People tend to do things that are easy and make them feel good. If there's one universal truth for people around the world, okay, it's this, right? People do things that are easy and make them feel good, and they repeat those behaviors. I mean, it is incredibly powerful, especially in economics. Small changes in how things are framed can shift the way that we think about things significantly. It's a big deal. It happens, and you probably don't even realize it's happening to you. You're making choices that you feel like your own, but there is a little bit of nudging going on behind the scenes, which I think is brilliant. One of the most popular examples of this is when you're in the supermarket buying ground beef. Imagine this. Are you more likely to buy ground beef that is labeled as 80% lean, or would you buy the one that is labeled 20% fat? It's the same thing, right? It's all about how you frame it. And time again, without surprise, it's not surprising to us that people choose the 80% lean. It has a positive spin on it, right? The 5 principle, these are pro tips for operational learning. Because if you think about it, if we are going about learning and operating in this way where we believe that error is normal, blame fixes nothing, we're really interested in understanding the context, we know that learning is vital, and that is something that we don't want to drop, and our response matters. If we are operating with that demeanor, we are going to be learning a lot more truth, a lot less sugarcoat, and therefore those are pro tips. Do you want pro tips? I want pro tips. If you help somebody solve an urgent problem, you automatically become way more valuable. That's just how it works. So if we can demonstrate a human performance, a HOP idea, and demonstrate it being valuable at solving something urgent, oh man, we are in. We are invited to the party at that point. I keep my ears open when I'm in meetings with leadership. What is urgent? What are the problems? And I try to jump on that as quickly as possible to sort of like design a little solution using human-centered design, because when we're doing that, we've operationalized HOP at that point, and I didn't even have to say that to anybody, right? And at the end of the day, that's kind of what we want to do anyway, right? We want to get this stuff working so we can see the benefits and all the good things that we believe in. Sprinkling new knowledge into old knowledge. The rest of the slides here, I just want to talk about sprinkling new knowledge into things that probably exist in your company right now. This is, for me, this has been the easiest way to operationalize the stuff that we talk about here, because I don't need a whole lot of permission. I don't need to rewrite a whole lot of things. I'm just doing what we've always done, just slightly differently, right? And when the results are better, that's when I get buy-in and get invited back to do more and more. I think, man, the easiest thing, and I don't know if it's like this where you've been, but investigations, especially like the solutioning part, it usually ends up being a room full of managers and maybe some safety people in there, and we're coming up with the solutions. And we know that that is, we're missing a big part, right? We're missing a big part. Learning teams obviously are so much better, but it's resource intensive, and it might take a little while to get a process down and start going in that direction. One thing you can do to like just get moving here is invite some sharpened perspective into that meeting. Invite one person from the sharp end, because now you have that perspective, and and that will be a game changer, right? You've seen it, the old pre-job brief, pre-task planning, tailgate talks. This is fertile ground to sprinkle things in. Remember, we don't want to bolt things on, but if we can sort of weave it in to what is already existing, uh, there's an opportunity for good things to happen here. So one of the places where you can get people thinking a little bit differently is in the pre-job brief, and sprinkle in some questions that encourage them to anticipate what could go wrong. Start building foresight into these different pathways to failure, because if we understand how things could unfold, then we're better equipped to put better controls in place during this pre-job briefing. So some of those questions could look like, what's the worst thing that could happen on this job? What is the worst thing, right? And how would we know that it's starting to go wrong? There's a lot of critical thinking that you're sort of encouraging here too with these questions. What will make this task hard to do safely? We want to know. And when everybody's in a group talking about this, it's a wonderful thing, right? How might we better support decision making in high pressure conditions? Um, is it easy to make good decisions when you're under a lot of pressure? Usually that ability erodes a little bit, and thinking about it, gaining some foresight here can be extremely beneficial. Final thoughts from me are, you don't need permission to be curious, to ask questions, right? It's usually very refreshing to people to be asked. Do want to let you know that generally stopping things that the business expects you to do typically doesn't go well, right? If they're expecting you to do these certain things and you just stop them, you're going to lose power. You're going to lose some support. Be creative and try to understand where you can sprinkle the good stuff into the things that you have to do. Reshaping, adding good things that produce better results is like going above and beyond, right? It's going to make you look good. And practicing these things without connecting them to a program really makes you stand out. When you're done doing an investigation, when you're done doing a job observation and you've sprinkled some of these things in there and you walk away, people are going to be like, wow, that that was good. Like, who is that genius, right? And you can take the credit for that, and that'll even give you more and more influence um, within your department. These are all like simple revolutionary acts. If you think about it, very small changes that have a huge, huge impact.